Hello boys and girls, children of all ages, and welcome to the Hungarian Grand Prix here, just outside of Budapest, Hungary, where we will see an action-packed race. I can imagine 26 laps, I think, of action, hopefully. So we have an RS1-2 at the moment, BAR third and fourth, although Lazy has just pipped in, and so has Webber. There's Frentzen on pole, Schumacher second, Mattacane third, Webber fourth, Sato fifth. It's not Sato fifth anymore. Pedro de la Rosa has gone into fifth place. Heinz-Harald Frentzen has been beaten by pole, and that's Mattacane now is on pole position. Changing position every second. It's hard to commentate on this. Webber's now taken pole position at the moment in the Sauber. Arrows are trying to look for a way back after last race. So are Jaguars. Jaguar are currently 10th and 14th, 11th and 14th now. Ralf Schumacher's going to stay in third place. He could not improve his lap time. So it's currently Webber on pole, Mattacane in second. Fisichella's just jumped in front of Frentzen. Panis, Michael Schumacher, last race winner, in seventh at the moment. Waiting for the rest of the drivers to come out. Mattacane's come out. Is he going to improve? No, he isn't. Fisichella's come out. He has improved, but not position-wise. He's just jumped up. Lazy has jumped up. Is he? It's Lazy, yeah. Lazy's jumped up. Michael Schumacher's gone on pole. Frentzen's gone on pole by 800ths of a second. Quite a few drivers still have laps to do, including the top three. All of them have come out at exactly the same time. Michael Schumacher has just taken pole position off of Frentzen. So Michael Schumacher has gone back onto pole position. That's where he started last race. So it's going to be a German 1-2 with Schumacher and Frentzen first and second. Webber third, Lazy fourth, Mattacane fifth, Ralf Schumacher sixth, Giancarlo Fisichella seventh, Olivier Panis eighth, Alex Young ninth, Damon Hill 10th, Jenson Button 11th, Kimi Raikkonen 12th, Pedro de la Rosa 13th. That is your top 13. And I don't think we're going to see any... Oh, there we are. Mick Hakkinen 14th, Barrichello 15th, Sato 16th, Dinnis 17th, Coulthard 18th, Alonso 19th, and Montoya 20th, and last the two Toyotas bringing up the rear of the track. As we are going to go onto the live footage of the Hungarian circuit. That is the run into turn 4. That's just off the exit of the chicane. Hungary, famed for being a really hard track to overtake. Back markers have blocked leaders quite a few times in these races. But we will see a spectacle here in the Hungarian Grand Prix. Schumacher on pole, Frentzen second. Who will get into turn 1 first? The answer we will find now. Schumacher gets a fantastic start. Frentzen looks to try and go with him. Is Frentzen going to outbrake Schumacher to turn 1? Frentzen is going to push Schumacher out. Schumacher's span. And we've got gridlock here. And Webber is taking advantage of taking the lead. The two arrows are side by side. Webber leads, a Lazy second. We had gridlock there after the turn 1. So Webber is now leading. Well, Lazy second, Schumacher third. Frentzen is going to be in 4th place. Ralf Schumacher 5th, Panis 6th, Mattacane 7th, and Hill is the last of the top 8, Fisichella 9th, Young, Raikkonen, Button, Hakkinen, De La Rosa, Sato, Barrichello, Dinnis, Alonso going down the inside of Coulthard, and Juan Pablo Montoya, last season's champion, bringing up the rear as we're on board with Mark Webber, the current race leader. 26 laps of the Hungarian circuit. Webber looking to pull away from the lead from a Lazy. Sauber have not won a race yet. This might be their time to shine. A Lazy looking to consolidate that second place that he's been given thanks to Frentzen taking out of Schumacher. Arrows have literally been in the wars this season, of touching everyone, taking everyone out. Luckily, neither of the drivers retired. So we've still got a full grid of 20 for now. So we've got Matsucane in 7th, Hill in 8th in the Jordan. Round the right-hander chicane towards the final sector, the final 2 corners, 2 very understeering corners. The key spots in the race, because it's a long run down to turn 1. This corner in particular, you get a good exit around this corner and you can get down the inside of turn 1. But we have Sato 15th, Barrichello 16th. And Diniz is 17th, Alonso 18th, Coulthard 19th, and Montoya is still bringing up the rear around turn 1 on lap 2 of 26. Montoya is starting to lose track, and Webber is flown away in the first lap. He's got a 5-second lead over Michael Schumacher. So something must have happened if Michael Schumacher's in 2nd place, but by like 5 seconds. Frenson's in 3rd, Alesi's in 4th. This is what's going to happen. Schumacher's going to go down the inside of Alesi. No, he isn't. He's going to keep behind him, going around turn 1, down towards turn 2. Schumacher going to someone down the inside. Yes, he is. Is he going to touch Alesi? Yes, he is. That's let Frenson go by. Schumacher's still behind Alesi, and so are the 2 BARs. So the top 3 now is the top 3 of the grid: Webber, Schumacher, and Frenson. But Schumacher and Frenson have a lot of work to do now to catch up to Webber. 5-second lead that Webber's got. But it's not out of the question just yet. Anything can happen. Round towards the final sector of the race. Alesi 4th now. He couldn't consolidate that 2nd place for too long. Ralf Schumacher in 5th in the Arrows. The season 2 champion. Looking for a way past Alesi. He's got Panis for company behind him. Webber leads. Schumacher 4.3 seconds behind. Slowly catching. Alesi 4th. Ralf Schumacher 5th. Panis 6th. Matsucane 7th. Hill 8th. Fisichella 9th, Young 10th, Raikkonen 11th, Button 12th, Hakkinen 13th, De La Rosa 14th, Sato 15th, Barrichello 16th, Diniz in 17th place, and there's quite a big gap towards 18th. Alonso, Coulthard, Montoya all right by each other, bringing up the rear. Now things are going to settle down now, lap 3. Still very close battles, especially that there's a lazy Schumacher Panis battle, very, very close. It assumes that Alesi is running heavy and long into the race if he's not being overtaken much. It's a very tight chicane, the tightest corner of the circuit this chicane is. And fast sweeping left, right sequence of corners towards the end of sector 2 of the Hungaroring circuit. And then to right-hander, full 90-degree corner pretty much. And it's a very fast left-hander towards heavy braking to the left-hander on the towards final corner. Sato has stopped on circuit. There he is, Sato retiring from the race. The first retirement of the race, Takuma Sato. The Minardi, De La Rosa 14th in the Jaguar. Round turn 1, and that is Diniz out. Diniz also with suspension and breakage. Not sure where that was on circuit, but both Sato and Diniz out. Coulthard looking down the inside of Alonso, but Coulthard cannot overtake Alonso. Down towards turn 2. Do 131s here at the back of the grid. Alonso 16th in the Toyota. And that is Barrichello with what looks like it's another suspension collapse. That is round the fast turn 4, I think. There is Rubens Barrichello retiring. We've round the chicane with these Alonso train, shall we say. Hakkinen 13th. Button, Raikkonen and Young all in front, battling for 10th. Not for points at the moment because only the top 8 score now. Young in 10th, Fisichella 9th, Hill 8th, Mazzacane 7th, that's Panis in 6th. It's still Schumacher in 5th and Alesi in 4th, so Alesi still holding on to that 4th place. But surely it's only a matter of time before Schumacher gets past. He's heckling the Frenchman left, right and centre. And if Alesi's not careful, Schumacher's probably going to put him off. There's a 7-second gap now between the top 3 and the rest of the field, because surely Alesi's fueled heavy. Down through the fast left right-handers. There is Frentzen. Schumacher's pulling away slightly. How close are they to Webber though? That is the main question. It's 2.8. They are catching Webber quite quickly. They are catching Webber. We could see a fight for the lead. That would be pretty epic, shall we say. But the Hungarians got nowhere to overtake. Turn 1's pretty much the only overtaking spot unless you get a good exit off turn 1 and you get turn 2. But after that, there's nowhere to overtake around this circuit, so they're going to have to bide their time. Schumacher's doing fastest lap after fastest lap every single lap, trying to catch the Australian in the Sauber. Round turn 2. Alonso's now retired in 17th. He was the guy that was holding everyone, Coulthard and Montoya up. And now he becomes the 4th retirement already of this race. But Webber leads in the Sauber. There's Schumacher and there was Frentzen. You got a quick glimpse of Frentzen there. They go around fast left right-handers. Turns 9 through to 12. And it's tight. Turn 13. Flat out here. Down towards the final 2 sequences of corners. Frentzen in 3rd in the arrows. 4th is still Alesi. It's 11 seconds now, the gap. Quickly the gap's going to become one where the 2 stoppers will get to be in 3rd place again. Ralf Schumacher's down the inside of that corner, not looking at the moment. Ralf Schumacher's now looking down the inside of Alesi. Is he going to get a good exit off that corner? It looks to me like he has not. Panis has got a good exit off of that corner though. Is Panis going to trouble Ralf Schumacher? No. No, he isn't. Schumacher did another fastest lap. My call, that is, not Ralf. Down towards turn 2. Ralf Schumacher gets sent. Nope. Round the left-hander, and that is De La Rosa in the Jaguar out of the race. That's off the main straight. You can see where he turned off, and that's De La Rosa out of the race now. He becomes the 5th retirement of this race. I want to say 5th. Coulthard 14th. He's pulling away significantly from Montoya now. He's no longer being held up by Alonso. Hakkinen in 13th place in the McLaren. 12th place is Button. 11th Raikkonen. 10th Young. Looks like all these are being held up by Young at the moment. They are ready in the pitch for a driver. BA are doing their famed early overtake pit stop. Schumacher's down the inside of Alonso. Michael Schumacher with another fast lap. The gap is now 2.1. That is Panis going into the pits. Ralf Schumacher still cannot get a good exit off that corner, but Panis into the pits though. For his one of, I presume, 2 stops. Expecting the 2 stoppers to pit around this lap. Lap 7 to lap 11, we reckon, 2 stoppers. 1 stoppers could be anywhere after lap 12. And away goes Panis. He's going to find a nice gap between Hakkinen and Coulthard, is he? In fact, Coulthard's about to come past. There is Coulthard. Panis still going slow, and he's just in front of the Brit. Panis just in front of Coulthard. I don't know if that's advantageous to Panis or Coulthard. But now Webber leads for Sauber still, but Schumacher's still catching him up at the right rate of knots. Frenzen's going with Schumacher at the moment. We can see the top 3. There we are, the top 3 all on the same straight, all in the same camera shot. It's a brilliant drive at the moment from Schumacher and Frenzen to try and catch Webber up after the first lap shenanigans between Frenzen and Schumacher. Again, Schumacher still doing fastest lap after fastest lap. The gap is down to 1.7 seconds between Webber and Schumacher. Frenzen behind, 1.8 seconds behind Schumacher, which will put him 3.3 behind Mark Webber. Round turn 4, down towards turn 5 goes Schumacher. Long right-hander. Turn 6 and 7 is a very tight chicane. Little bit of kick of oversteer there. Turns 8 through to 11. Now turn 9, turns 10 and 11. Turn 10 pretty much flat out. Turn 11 a little bit of braking. And down towards turn 12. That is Sauber and Webber. Or in fact, all the top 3 are ready to go into the pits. This is going to be a battle of the pit crew here. Who's going to put the most fuel in? Who's going to put the least in? Who's going to have the advantage? We will soon find out. The top 3 all go into the pits. Webber, Schumacher and Frenzen all pitting on lap 9. Here we go. We are on board with Schumacher through this pit stop. Webber goes in. Both Schumacher and Frenzen at the end of the pit lane. Webber's got the advantage here of being able to block both of these cars, shall we say, but fuel's still going. Webber's out. Schumacher has come out. Frenzen's come out. They all come out pretty much the same time. Hill, Fisichella, Webber's come out in front. They've all come out line astern still. Webber, Schumacher, Frenzen are all on the same bit of track, all right by each other. So that puts a Lazy into the lead, we believe. There's Webber in 5th. Fisichella, Hill, Ralf Schumacher, a Lazy in the lead. And that is Montoya out the race. He's parked it right by the pit entrance. Luckily, he was that far in last that they'll be able to move that car before anyone comes along. So both the Toyotas out of the race. Juan Pablo Montoya, the season 3 champion, out for it has even started. He's struggling to come to grips with this season's Toyota. Back to Carney, we are on board with in 12th. He's made a pit stop. Hakkinen, Button, Raikkonen, all behind Alex Young still. That is Frenzen in front of Young, obviously. The fact that they're all right by each other still means that they could all group up together still. And that is Button going into the pits. He's had enough of being in that train. He's going into the pits. Frenzen 7th in the arrows. 6th, Michael Schumacher. 5th, Mark Webber. Someone has pitted. I'm not sure who though. There was no indication of who was pitting. Fisichella's in 4th. Hill 3rd. Ralf Schumacher 2nd. I still don't... I'm looking at the cars and I still don't know who's pitted. Ralf Schumacher's still behind a Lazy. Still behind after 11 laps of race. 10 laps actually he's been stuck behind. Because a Lazy was in 2nd. So didn't make much of a difference. Ralf Schumacher's still behind a Lazy at the moment. Round left, right, complex. Ralf Schumacher still trying to overtake the Lazy. He's left, right, centre. One of these days he's going to overtake the Frenchman. Round the right hander, down towards... Lazy's just blocking Schumacher wherever he goes. Schumacher had a little look down the inside of a Lazy there. Lazy's taking a very wide line and then cutting in deep to block the line of Schumacher. But Schumacher's got a good exit off that corner. He's catching a Lazy slightly. Is he going to send one down the inside of turn 1? He's not close enough at all. A Lazy just biding his time. He still leads this race, a Lazy does. Temporarily. There is a Lazy. round the right-handers, turn 3. Ralf Schumacher still behind. Still cannot overtake at all. This is the problem with the Hungaroring. Just nowhere to overtake on this circuit. Hill directly behind them. Round the left-right chicane. Both of the Renaults are in the top 4 at the moment. They're not going to stay there for too much longer because they both still need to pit. All these top 4 still need to pit. It'll put Webber back into the lead. And that is Arrows ready in the pits. So with Jordan. So both Ralf Schumacher and Hill have had enough of being in this train. They're both going to head into the pits this lap. Now, will these guys 1 or 2 stop? It's on the cut-off point between the 1 and the 2 stop, so it'll be interesting to see what will happen. There goes Fisichella, so the Renaults are 1 and 2 at the moment. That is Hill diving into his pit box with all his yellow mechanics. Not going to miss them in a hurry. There's a beautiful gap in front of Mazzacane we can see there that they're going to come out in front of. And that is Hill fueled very heavily. He's definitely going to the end. Ralf Schumacher has gone out already, so I don't think Ralf Schumacher's in for the end. But that could be key because he's actually in front of Mazzacane. Hill around turn 1. He's had a little punt there from Panis, but nothing major between the two of them. Coulthard directly behind them. So Coulthard has actually been held up by Panis a little bit, it looks like. But Hill is away. He's on that 1 stop, meaning that Panis has to overtake him as soon as possible because Hill is very, very heavy. And I think that was Renault getting ready in the pits. I'm not sure for who. McLaren ready in the pits as well. That's going to be for Hakkinen. There is Hakkinen. Young in 6th still. All 3. The net top 3 are all right by each other pretty much. Looks like Fisichella is in the pits. So Alesi carries on for 1 more lap. Fisichella in the pits. These are definitely the ones stopping, these guys are. So, being serviced now, Fisichella. All 4 tyres being changed. A very slow change of tyres, but it's alright because the fuel's still going in. Engaging first gear. And away goes Fisichella. Ralf Schumacher going to get past Fisichella easily. Mazzacane is also ahead, which is also key. And Fisichella comes out in front of Damon Hill. So Damon Hill's just not going to get past Fisichella. In fact, Damon Hill is being passed by Panis. That's a brilliant overtake from Panis around turn 1. That is key for Panis because he has to now gain some time over Panis. Hill. Especially with how slow he is going to be. Fisichella 8th. Mazzacane is in 7th. Ralf Schumacher directly in front in 6th place. Lots of oversteer there from the German. 5th, Alex Young. 4th, still Frentzen. He's still being heckled by Young. Left, right, and centre pretty much. Frentzen 4th in the Arrows. Webber and Schumacher directly in front of the German. There is Michael Schumacher. Mark Webber still leads this race. No, Mark Webber doesn't lead this race, in fact. It's Alesi that still leads this race. Alesi still hasn't stopped for fuel. He's 6 seconds in front of this lot. And he's making every second count at the moment. Alesi leading. He's led since lap 9. He's made the tyres last. He's made the fuel last. He's in very good stead here. He's probably not going to win this race because the 2 stoppers are going to be so much faster than Alesi before they come into pit. He's got 7.3 second lead, so they're going to have to do some impressive work here if they're going to come out in front. Lazy round the penultimate corner, and he's going to dive right into the pits for his one and only stop on lap 15. They're going to have to put 10 laps of fuel into the car, which will be enough to get him to the end, you would have thought. But there goes Webber, there goes Michael Schumacher, there goes Frentzen, there goes Young. Is he going to get in front of Ralf Schumacher? This is key for the Germans race, because Ralf Schumacher was just constantly behind a lazy. Constantly. There goes a lazy. And Ralf Schumacher still has not gone past. I think a lazy is going to be in front of Ralf Schumacher. There's Ralf Schumacher. And yes, a lazy is in front of Ralf Schumacher still. Unbelievable. Even with the full lap overcut or an undercut, Ralf Schumacher still cannot overtake a lazy, and he's still going to be behind a lazy. Unbelievable. I think Ralf Schumacher's still going to do another pit stop, so this is going to hurt the Germans so badly. Round the left-hander, round the right. Ralf Schumacher's going to have enough of the back of the Renault's rear wing, surely. Panis in 9th, still behind Fisichella. He's actually caught up to Fisichella monumentally, but cannot overtake him. Raikkonen's down in 11th behind Hill now. Hakkinen 12th. Button in a lonesome 13th. 10 seconds and 15 seconds either side. The qualifier is even more lonesome. He's down in 15th place. And Young finally makes a pit stop. He's the last of the drivers to make a pit stop. He's made it 16 laps before finally heading into the pits. Change of all 4 tyres. Got to fuel for 9 laps. 10 laps. There we are. Young out. A lazy easy going to be ahead. So will Ralf Schumacher. So will Mazzacane. But Young in front of Fisichella. Alex Young is ahead of Fisichella. Ralf Schumacher still cannot do an overtake on a lazy to save his life. This is hurting the Season 2's race significantly. There is Frentzen, left, right, chicane, Webber and Schumacher. And arrows are ready in the pits, and so are the Sauber team. Now that is key, because Ferrari aren't going to service Schumacher. Oh, there they are. There it is. All 3 of them in the same time again. No one's strategy has made him do the one-stop overcut. So Webber, Schumacher, Frentzen all in at the same time. The top 3. You all have to slow down a little bit for Mark Webber. That's actually going to help Mark Webber a little bit. But servicing the tyres now. They've got to get out in front of a lazy. If a lazy gets out in front of them, it'd probably be hugely disastrous. But that is disastrous for Schumacher, because Frentzen is actually in front. There's the top. There's the other 3. Is a lazy going to get it? A lazy's ahead of Michael Schumacher. And he's been touched by his brother. A lazy's managed to get out ahead of Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher's race has gone from bad to worse. Last race winner is behind a lazy. A lazy's made this one-stop work. He's looking very good for that 3rd place. But Webber is still leading this race. Frentzen 2nd in the arrows. Lazy in 3rd. What a race we have on now, because Schumacher's been so much faster than a lazy this whole race. And that's put Ralf Schumacher doesn't have to look at the back of that Renault anymore, because Michael Schumacher is now in front. But this is hurting the Germans' race so badly, because he still has to make another pit stop. Mazzacane also having to make another pit stop. BAR ready in the pits. They are going to be servicing Mazzacane. This will give a good indication about where he and Ralf Schumacher's going to end up. There we go. Mazzacane into the pits. Are they still going to be in the points? We shall soon see. But Ralf Schumacher still behind Schumacher. Is he going to send one down the inside? He's getting close, but nothing happening there. It's still Ralf Schumacher 5th, Michael Schumacher 4th. A lazy third, Frentzen second, Webber leads the Hungarian Grand Prix in the Sauber. 2 races this season we've had, and 2 race winners we're about to see in the new 2 new teams winning, which will mean that I think every single team would have won a race in the 4 seasons. But we shall not dwell on that too much at the moment, because we've still got 7 laps to go. Anything can happen. Frenson's still trying to catch Webber since the turn 1 incident. He's still quicker slightly than Webber. Arrows ready in the pits. That is going to be for Ralf Schumacher. Now this is the key pit stop for Ralf Schumacher. Where is he going to end up? We're going to see behind Frentzen. No, we're not. Thought we was going to see behind Frentzen the pitting arrows, but there is the top 4 all line astern pretty much on the same bit of tarmac. Here we'll see the list of retirements: Diniz, Sato, Barrichello, Alonso, De La Rosa, Montoya. Those are your retirements. How we look down the field. Coulthard in 14th. Panis is in 13th place in the BAR. Button 12th. Mazzacane is in 11th place. So that is where they've ended up, in 11th and 10th. They're not going to score any points at this rate. Schumacher is in 10th. Hakkinen is going to be in 9th place, the last position before the point scorers. Hill is in 8th in the Jordan. The Jordan's going to score 1 point. Raikkonen in the Sauber. So it's 2 Saubers in the top 8 at the moment. Here are reports that Raikkonen still has to make another pit stop. Fisichella is in 6th place in the Renault. Young 5th in the Minardi. 4th is Michael Schumacher. Pole man Michael Schumacher. He had the race in his hands, and then he got punted off by Frentzen, and now he's now behind Alesi in 3rd. Frentzen is in 2nd, and closing up very quickly on Webber. We're going to have a battle on our hands in the final 6 laps, but the Hungarian famed for not being able to overtake on. So Frentzen's going to have to find an ingenious way of overtaking Webber if he's going to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. The Arrow team have not won since season 2, when they were world champions. Sauber have never won in the 3 and a bit seasons that we've been doing this. They're the only team that have not won a race. Or can Alesi take home his first ever victory? He's only been driving in a Renault for, this is his 2nd season in a Renault, I believe. We shall soon find out. Frentzen's not close enough to Webber to even warrant any dive bombs. Sauber ready in the pits. That is going to be for Raikkonen. So Raikkonen's actually going to drop out of the points. It's going to promote Hakkinen into the points. So Hakkinen's going to be scoring a point in his return. Young in 5th, Fisichella in 6th. Raikkonen is into the pits in the Sauber. 80 kilometers an hour. Turning into his pit box. Hill goes past Hakkinen. Goes past Ralf Schumacher. Goes past Mazzacane is going to go past as well. Button is going to go past. There we are. So Raikkonen's going to come out in 12th place, but ahead of Olivier Panis in the BAR. So BAR is actually looking really nice for some good, decent points, but strangely they've come away with 0. BAR might be that. No, Jaguar are a pointless team at the moment as well. So I don't actually BAR scored in the last race, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking rubbish. Hill in 7th in the Jordan. 6th place is Fisichella in front. Down towards the right-hander, but we're not going to get to the right-hander. We're going to go round this right-hander. Down the pitch straight. Lap 23 of 26. The top 4 all covered by 2.6 seconds. I don't think we've had a race that close for quite a while between the top 4. But Frentzen is still behind Webber. Webber is still holding on to that precious lead that they are desperate for. Round turn 4. I think turn 4. I think they ignore that corner. I think so. That might either be turn 4 or turn 5. I might have been saying the wrong turn number this whole race. Who knows? Down round the chicane. And then the fast sweeping corners. Absolutely zero chance of overtaking. It's fine for Monaco without the walls. We're still not without Monaco because we just can't race at Monaco, really. We just cannot race at Monaco. But we have 3 more laps of this Hungarian Grand Prix. Forget about Monaco. Frentzen down the pitch straight. Half a second is the gap between Webber and Frentzen. Round turn 1. Down towards turn 2. Webber holding on to the lead. The precious lead that they have been holding on for pretty much the entirety of the race. They've pitted at exactly the same lap every single time. The key for Frentzen getting in front of Schumacher was the fact that the pit position of the arrows being just behind Ferrari, which also led to Michael Schumacher being behind a Lazy. Lazy in 3rd. Fantastic race for a Lazy. He's kept stern. He kept Ralf Schumacher at bay all these laps. And now he's going to be rewarded with a podium for the Frenchman. Around the final few corners, we're about to start the penultimate lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Round the final corner. Lazy 3rd in the Renault. Down the pitch straight. Schumacher's just not anywhere close enough to even challenge. Young holding on to 5th at the moment. Fisichella behind in 6th. So it's going to be a double point score for Renault. It's going to be a double point score for no one else, I think. I don't think any of the other top cars have 2 drivers in the points. Hakkinen 8th in the McLaren, but is being caught rapidly by Ralf Schumacher in the arrows. 9th. Mazzacane is just behind Ralf Schumacher in the 10th position. Going to be a pointless score for BAR this race. Jaguar is also going to be pointless this race, and so will Toyota. All 3 cars not having 2 drivers in the points, or 1 driver in the point for that matter. Forget about the 2 drivers, 1 driver in the points. Panis in 13th, and Coulthard will be the final driver on circuit. There he is. We're going to quickly be on towards the final lap of the race. Here we are. The battle of the top 2. Half a second is still the gap. It's stagnated pretty much of between the top 2 to half a second. But the final tour of the Hungaroring circuit, round 2 and season 4. Is Frentzen going to send one down the inside in any of these corners, or is he just going to consolidate that 2nd place and make sure they get decent points after the disaster of the first race at Silverstone? Round turn 5. There's no place to overtake here. Is he going to send one down the inside of the chicane? No, he isn't. And you're never going to overtake anyone around these left and right handers. left, right, and then on towards another left and another right. Get the Australian flags out. Get the Swiss flags out if you must. We have been waiting 3 and a bit seasons to say this. They've been so unlucky these entire seasons, but we can finally say this. Mark Webber in the Sauber is going to take home the checkered flag to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. Frentzen finishes in second by half a second, a lazy third, and Michael Schumacher finishes in 4th position. That's probably the tightest the top 4 have been in a very long time. Alex Jean 5th, Fisichella in 6th. There are your top 6. 7th and 8th is going to be Hill in 7th, and Häkkönen's going to finish in 8th place. The final point going to Häkkönen. 0.9 seconds was the gap between Häkkönen and Ralf Schumacher in the air. Mazzacane in 10th. Button is in 11th. 12th Raikkonen. 13th Panis. And the last driver will be Coulthard. Now we'll go back on board with Mark Webber on his parade lap, shall we say. Mark Webber, your Grand Prix winner. Into the pits goes the Australian in towards Park Ferme, your race winner. All top 4, all line astern, but no champagne for Michael Schumacher. After starting on pole, he is going to be disappointed, shall we say, especially after winning the British Grand Prix, especially in the position he was in. Webber wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, half a second, only half a second in between Webber and Frentzen. Who knows what could have happened if we didn't have them couple of spins at the start. Frentzen's in second place. He's going to be delighted with that result, especially with what happened in the last race. A lazy, for me, driver of the day, Jean Alesi. He was so composed and managed to keep hold of that 3rd position. Schumacher, disappointing race with Schumacher finishing in 4th. Young, he had a very quiet race, but he finishes in 5th. Fisichella 6th. Another driver with another quiet race. Hill 7th. He was held up a lot by Alesi. Probably helped Alesi by the fact that he managed to hold up the 2 stoppers of Hill and Schumacher and the 2 BARs. There's Ralf Schumacher, pointless both races so far. Mazzacane finishing in 10th in the BAR. 11th Button in the Jordan. 12th place is Kimi Raikkonen in the Sauber. 13th Panis in the BAR, and 14th is going to be Coulthard, your final finisher of this race, and the many retirements. Montoya in the Toyota. De La Rosa in the Jaguar, Alonso in the other Toyota, Rubens Barrichello in the Ferrari, Takuma Sato in the Minardi, and Diniz in the other Jaguar is your final retirement. The next race is going to be the French Grand Prix, the first of 2 visits to the French Grand Prix. Hope you tune in for that. So thank you very much for watching. Michael Schumacher, by the way, fastest lap of the race. Well done. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.